Mission accomplished for the Oregon Ducks. Congratulations. They win the Big Ten championship. Not bad for their first year in the league. Now they're on a bigger mission. Locked on Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Shemon, 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer, and I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com and get started. So congratulations on the Ducks. Mission accomplished. Bigger mission ahead now, a national championship. And we'll take a look at where all four of the Big Ten teams that got into the playoffs, where they're slated, what time their games are, some early thoughts. We're going to be all over that. Plus the bowl schedules involving Big Ten teams and our top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. We'll get to all of that. But first of all, not many of us saw an 82-point shootout for the Big Ten championship on Saturday night as the Oregon Ducks defeated Penn State 45-37. Obviously, the over hit on that, and that's probably not the biggest thing. We've moved the Oregon pennant, for those of you watching on video, into the prime pole position. A lot of you were texting me in with messages and you wanted it moved. We moved it. There you go, right over the shoulder, front and center, so you can see. Now, seriously, with the game, the Ducks quarterback Dylan Gabriel threw 4 touchdown passes in the win. The Ducks earn a first-round bye as the number 1 seed in the 12-team college football playoffs. Not bad for a Heisman candidate who decided to leave Oklahoma about a year ago and hit the transfer portal before ending up in Eugene. Worked out for him. Great. He already is the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. In this game, he completed 22 of 32 passes for 283 yards. Had a lot of help along the way on Saturday night. There were a lot of star performances. First of all, let's start with Tez Johnson. Fresh off of returning from a shoulder injury, he just looked like he was running in a different gear, different level of athlete on the field. Best athlete on the field on Saturday night. And anytime they touched the ball, he was just electric. Caught 11 passes for 181 yards and a touchdown. So they're glad to have him back into the lineup for sure. And what's interesting with all the wide receiver weapons that Oregon has, including Tez Johnson and Trayshawn Holden and Evan Stewart and even tight end Terrence Ferguson, they had to do some great plays. But Kenyon Sadiq, where did he come from? 2 touchdown catches early on, setting the tone. His first 2 of the season, by the way. Just remarkable. And got a leg up in the early going of what would turn out to be a shootout. So got him off to a good start. Also, it was clear that the game plan was to get Jordan James involved. It was a lot of Jordan James early on, early and often. Carried 20 times for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. But it was a nice 1-2 punch. We're talking about the 1-2 punch at running back for Penn State. Oregon, it's pretty good with Noah Whittington coming in there too. He had 15 carries for 82 yards. Strong running. And while there was plenty of offense, of course, Penn State kept fighting back. There was defensive play. Nico Reed with the amazing interception at the end to seal it. Penn State did have some amazing efforts in this game that we need to talk about. Katron Allen rushed 14 times for 124 yards and a touchdown. Nick Singleton, 10 carries, 105 yards. Also caught a TD. I thought had Penn State won, he might have been the MVP. They were really good on the ground in this game. Now, what's different, though, let's talk about it here. We've discussed this at length on Locked On Big Ten. This normally would have been an elimination game of some sort with a 4-team playoff. Oregon would have advanced and Penn State would have been knocked down and gone to some nice warm bowl game, perhaps. I've said before, and I'll continue to repeat it time and time again, that no school will benefit more or would have benefited more over the past 10 years with an expanded 12-team playoff field instead of the 4 teams. So this is a perfect example. Great season, coming rolling in here, 11 wins. They lose a big game, but they're still alive. All right. Normally it's been Michigan and Ohio State in the past. This year it's Ohio State and now Oregon, but they're moving forward. They're into the playoffs. And so let's take a look at this because the college football playoff poll was released on Sunday. The 12-team field is set. Yes, we still have 4 Big Ten teams in the playoffs: Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, and Indiana. They all made the show. They're all playing. Quickly, the rankings: Oregon, undefeated, 13-0. Georgia moving up to number 2, winning the SEC championship game in overtime, 11-2. Texas falls to 11-2, so they just fall to 3. Penn State at 4, Notre Dame at 5, Ohio State 6, Tennessee's at 7, Indiana ranked 8th, but they're seeded 10th. We'll tell you about that in a moment. Boise State ranked 9th. SMU, they lose in a heartbreaker to Clemson in the ACC title game, but they're in at 10, so they don't fall out. Alabama's ranked 11th, but they're first team out. Arizona State gets the 12th spot as the winner of the Big 12. Miami is out at 13. Ole Miss is out at 14. South Carolina out at 15, all playing well at the end of the season. Clemson ranked 16th. They stole a bid by winning the ACC championship game with a last-second field goal, so they're in. So let's take these rankings and let's make them seedings. How will this look with a 12-team college football playoff? First of all, Oregon's the number 1 seed, number 1 ranked. They get a bye week. They're the highest seeded bye team. Then there's the 2 seed and then second ranked Georgia. The 3 seed is 9th ranked Boise State, Mountain West. And the 4 seed is 12th ranked Arizona State out of the Big 12. How does all this shake up? We'll have 8 seed and 6th ranked Ohio State. Yeah, ranked 6, but they get an 8 seed. They get the 8-9 game taking on Tennessee. That will be Saturday, December 21st at 8 p.m. on ABC or ESPN. And the winner of that game will then move on to take on Oregon. So we very well could have a rematch between Ohio State and Oregon in the next round of the playoffs. 5 seed and 3rd ranked Texas taking on 12 seed and 16th ranked Clemson. Everybody talks about how favorable the 5 seed spot is, how it plays out in the bracket, because they will take the lowest seed team with a bye. That's 4 seed and 12th ranked Arizona State. But the Texas Clemson game will be Saturday, December 21st, 4 p.m. That's on TNT, by the way. TNT rented out some of these. ESPN's using TNT because they got so much going on and their bowl commitments and all that kind of stuff. The other games they've got going on. So some of these games are going to be on TNT. 6 seed and 4th ranked Penn State. They will take on 11 seed, 10th ranked SMU. That is Saturday, December 21st at noon Eastern on TNT. The winner of that game would take on Boise State on December 31st, New Year's Eve. And then 7th seed and 5th ranked Notre Dame taking on 10 seed and 8th ranked Indiana. So that will be Friday. That's the first playoff game at Notre Dame, Friday, December 20th, 8 p.m., ABC and ESPN, and the winner of that game gets number 2 seed and 2nd ranked Georgia on January 1 at 8:45. So that's how that all plays out regarding the playoffs. And we'll be all over it here with Locked On Big Ten. I can already tell you we'll go live after the playoff games. We'll go live on that Friday night after the Indiana Notre Dame game, and we'll go live that next day, Saturday the 21st. We'll wait till both games are done. There's the Penn State game that's at noon, and then Ohio State plays at 8. I want both games to be done before we go live for full impact and immediate reaction. So we'll go late Saturday night, but I'll remind you of that. We got a couple weeks before we get to all of that. If you're wondering, the first bowl game, now this doesn't involve a Big Ten team, but we start bowling here this upcoming weekend, Saturday, December 14th, with the Cricket Celebration Bowl, Jackson State versus South Carolina State. But the first one that would involve a Big Ten team is not till after Christmas. Thursday, December 26th, 5:30 p.m., the Rate Bowl, Rutgers taking on Kansas State on ESPN. Friday, December 27th is the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. Texas A&M will take on USC. That's not until 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on ESPN. Saturday, December 28th, we got the Bad Boys Mowers Pinstripe Bowl in Yankee Stadium. Boston College will take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. That's a noon game, noon on ABC. And then on Monday, December 30th, we've got the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. Iowa takes on Missouri. That's a 2:30 Eastern game on ESPN. In the daytime, New Year's Eve, noon, the ReliaQuest Bowl. It's Alabama and Michigan. Pretty good matchup. 12 o'clock noon, daytime, New Year's Eve, rematch of last year's college football playoff Rose Bowl game in the semifinal. That game went in overtime. Michigan won. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl features Louisville and Washington at 2 o'clock Eastern on CBS on that same day, December 31st. And then at 3 o'clock on the 31st, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. A couple of top 20 teams here. South Carolina, 15th ranked South Carolina, taking on 20th ranked Illinois, 3 o'clock ABC. And then on Friday, January 3rd, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. PJ Fleck and the Minnesota Golden Gophers taking on Virginia Tech. So that's the bowl schedule with all the with the bowl teams of the Big Ten not involved in the college football playoffs. Love your thoughts and comments. Early thoughts on that. The playoffs, the seedings. Are they all fair? Ohio State got dropped quite a bit on the seedings compared to the rankings. Indiana, Curt Cignetti's not happy with his seeding. He thinks he should have a home game. We'll talk about some of that in just a few moments. If you want to check us out, if you could subscribe, if you don't mind, before we go, it's free. Just click that button and that's it. Set it and forget it. Subscribe to Locked On Big Ten and follow Locked On Big Ten for free, always for free, wherever you get your podcast. That way you get the latest episode of this podcast as soon as it becomes available each and every day. And don't forget to do some Christmas shopping on our website where all of our podcasts go, talkbig10.com. That's the number 10, talkbig10.com. Podcasts are there. And then for your convenience, we have some links where you can shop and buy your favorite school gear. I'm sure you Oregon fans can get Big Ten champion stuff, shirts, t-shirts, hats, all right there. TalkBig10.com. Do some Christmas shopping for yourself or your friends or your family members that are Big Ten fans and alum. TalkBig10.com. All right, coming up, we have some news from around the Big Ten. Regarding quarterbacks. Don't forget, transfer portal starts today. So we got all that coming up here. And then later on, we've got my top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend and the Big Ten championship. So all that's coming up right here on Locked On Big Ten. Omaha Steaks. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. It's guaranteed perfection in every single bite. And right now you can save on unforgettable gifts with 50% off statewide at omahasteaks.com, omahasteaks.com. Plus score an extra $30 off with the promo code college. So with 5 generations of experience, they can consistently deliver the world's best steak experience. And the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages featuring gourmet favorites. From legendary steaks to mouthwatering desserts and more, save 50% off statewide for a limited time at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get that extra $30 off with the promo code COLLEGE. That's 50% off at Omaha Steaks, OMAHA steaks.com, and an extra $30 off with the promo code COLLEGE. Minimum purchase may apply at Omaha Steaks. Well, thank everybody for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen each and every day. You everydayers out there, thank you. And also new Oregon Duck fans and subscribers. I could tell you guys are out there. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, be sure to subscribe on YouTube, share, and follow and like Locked On Big Ten, your team every day. And don't forget our website, talkbig10.com. So, Indiana football coach Curt Cignetti is upset. His Hoosiers did not get seeded for a home game of the playoffs. He says the 9th-ranked Hoosiers are a one-loss team, one of 6 one-loss teams in the country. And that one loss was to the number 2 team on the road at Ohio State. And then he ran down everybody else's resumes, and he made a good point. Finally, he concluded that because his team is named Indiana and not, say, for example, Michigan, that's the only reason the committee slotted them on the road at Notre Dame. You be the judge. Speaking of Notre Dame, some have suggested the Fighting Irish may be a transfer portal destination for former Michigan and Iowa quarterback Cade McNamara. Just talk about this. I don't know how official it is. I have my doubts, but it's out there, so I wanted to talk about it. He's going to have to get a medical waiver for the NCAA since he's been injured most of the past 3 years. And if granted, this would be his 7th collegiate season in 2025. Coach Marcus Freeman has brought in veteran quarterbacks each year with Sam Hartman and Riley Leonard. So he might do this. He's got youngster CJ Carr in 2025 recruit Blake Herbert. They'll make up a pretty young quarterback room over there. And they will need an experienced quarterback to lead that room. Here's my opinion on that so-called hot take. And it's nothing more than that now. But McNamara does have big game experience. Remember, he did lead Michigan to the playoffs, that first of the 3 straight they had before J.J. McCarthy came onto the scene. My opinion, though, is McCarthy, he's not good enough to be the quarterback at Notre Dame. That's just my opinion. Nice kid. Don't want to knock him, but he's not. Notre Dame's not going to put all their eggs in the basket of Cade McNamara. He just doesn't produce offensively. And sadly, he gets hurt a lot. So if I was Notre Dame, I would look elsewhere regarding that. Let's keep talking quarterbacks because it's fun. We got Kirk Ferentz, speaking of Iowa. What are they going to do at quarterback? Cade McNamara gone, right? Northwestern transfer Brendan Sullivan has 1 more year of eligibility left. He was hurt at the end of the year. Walk-on Jackson Stratton saw a lot of playing time because of the injuries to Cade McNamara, and Brandon Sullivan as well. It's presumed he'll be back, but that means they need an upgrade at quarterback. And Ferentz said that he'd be crazy not to see what else is out there in a transfer portal. So we'll see how aggressive they are. Typically, Iowa is not the most aggressive team when it comes to the transfer portal. Recent USC transfer Miller Moss is on the Hawkeyes' radar, but there's competition for his services. There's a good handful of teams that would like him. Meanwhile, the Ohio State Buckeyes, they're transitioning from shaking off their 4th straight loss to their arch rival Michigan, and yet having to step it up and get ready for the playoffs here. There's still a lot to play it for at Ohio State. These will be the final games or game for Will Howard, depending on how it works out, their quarterback. And he has been invited to and accepted to play in the Senior Bowl as he's trying to get ready for an NFL bid in 2025. He's currently projected about a 6th rounder. And while the Buckeyes will miss his completion rate and his leadership next season, I think the future looks kind of bright and exciting for the Buckeyes, to be honest. Julian Sayin should be ready to go. 5-star freshman this year, kind of waiting his turn. They got another incoming 5-star freshman and Tavian St. Clair. So people think that he'll be good enough to play right away as a freshman, kind of like Dylan Raiola did at Nebraska. So we'll see. Oh, and here's one I did not have on my bingo card that I'll share with you. Class of 2025 quarterback Chase Herbstreit. He is the son of former 4-year Buckeye and current ESPN football analyst Kirk Herbstreit. He committed to play at Michigan. Didn't see that one coming. Wonder how that's going over behind the scenes. He'll be the 2nd quarterback for Michigan's class of 2025 who signed the overall top recruit 5-star Bryce Underwood. So Herbstreit knows the deal. He's going to be a backup, and that's the situation there. And enough of recruiting for just a second. Today begins the official opening of the transfer portal for college football. It will be open until December 28th. So all through bowl season, the college football playoffs, we're going to keep an eye on it for you. Any interesting news that we have? Quarterbacks moving around. I mean, everybody wants to know what quarterbacks go where, but other players as well. We'll keep an eye on all that right here on Locked On Big Ten, your source for Big Ten news, information, opinion, and analysis right here. Tell your friends about us. Also, we have a Big Ten men's basketball game tonight. Keep you aware of just one on the schedule. Minnesota traveling to Indiana, 6:30 Eastern tip. That's at Assembly Hall on the Big Ten Network. All right, coming up, my top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. They're basically going to come from the Big Ten championship game. We'll have all that. It's going to be fun. Stick around right here on Locked On Big Ten. Watching games are fun. They can be more fun if you have a little excitement, a little adrenaline, a little action on it with FanDuel. Take NFL games, for example. You can watch them. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. They're locked into the NFL. Right now, new customers can bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, all right there on the same page you put your bets. So just visit FanDuel.com and join today. You can start with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Don't forget, we got Thursday night, interesting game, Rams 49ers. I take the under on that one, even though the Rams and the Bills just had the highest scoring game of the season. 49ers coming off their game with the Bears. I'll give you my pick on that as we get later in the week. But you can make picks like that yourself at FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, it's time now for my top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. We'll put them here on the board. If you're audio only, I'll describe them to you as we put them here on the screen on video, and we'll go full screen with it. First thing, I just want to generally put the Big Ten championship because 82 points. The Big Ten's all about these are two of the finest defensive units in the country, Penn State and Oregon. 82 points. It's like the SEC championship game was like a Big Ten game. It's like the Big Ten was a Big 12 shootout. It's crazy, but it was entertaining. All right, these are no particular, well, they're in semi-order, but I did cluster them by teams a little bit. At number 9, I got to have a top 10 list. And this, if I'm really ranking these, this can be higher. Penn State's Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. Just a 1-2 punch all day. Great running game all season. The last 3 seasons, really. They were incredible in this game. One of these guys would have been the MVP if Penn State had won the game. And I want to give a shout out to Drew Aller at number 8, the Penn State quarterback. I thought his best play of the night, it was 4th and 10 from the 15. They're down by a couple scores. 3:30 to go. It was do or die time, and he was under immense pressure. Grabbed from behind, going down, and he just chucked it. And lo and behold, it was right there at Harrison Walls III. I don't know how much was luck, and I don't know how much was just pure skill under extreme duress, but it impressed me, and I wanted to put it here. Drew Aller coming in at number 8. All right, well, this is going to be Ducks moving forward here. Oregon Ducks, Tysheem Johnson. I like to give some shout-outs to defensive players. He had 9 solo tackles in that game. He was all over the place. Wanted to mention, I always try and give some mention to defense because it seems like we always focus on offense. Also, Nico Reed with the interception, the key one at the end. 2 pass breakups as well. He was all over the field, as was Dante Manning. Got himself an interception earlier in the game for the Oregon Ducks. And just like I mentioned, the 1-2 punch at running back for Penn State, we got to do the same thing with Oregon because Jordan James and Noah Whittington are a powerful, fast, tough to handle running back duo that I think is going to do well in the playoffs. Running games travel, man. I think they're gonna do well. And what else we have here at number 3? I want to mention Kenyon Sadiq, 2 touchdowns early on to give the Ducks a little bit of a lead to start working that Penn State always had to kind of catch up from that point. Is 2 touchdowns, first 2 touchdowns of the year. With all those other receivers they have, all of a sudden Kenyon shows up and gets them started. And a guy throwing him the ball, Dylan Gabriel, going to be a finalist here for the Heisman next week. 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions in the game. Really just a great, great season. Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. And then number 1, I was so up to Tez Johnson, just watching him fly around that field, yards after catch, faking people out. Just that speed, that extra gear that he had. 11 catches, 181 touchdowns in the game. I thought he was the most impressive thing I saw all weekend. So there you have it. There's my top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. Does it match your list, or did I leave anything off? Feel free to let me know. There you have it. All right, coming up tomorrow, we got Tuesday tweets. We'll keep an eye on the transfer portal And we'll keep looking at these teams as they're getting ready for their playoff games, which isn't this upcoming weekend. It's the weekend after that. So we'll get ready. Everybody's kind of resting up and game planning now that they know who they're going to play. Love to hear from you throughout the week. Anytime you're watching a podcast, feel free to jump on board. Many ways to reach me at Twitter, X, at TalkBig10, number 10. Don't forget, you can just hit up the comments on YouTube all the time. You guys go at it. It's a lot of fun, to be honest. And then our website, talkbig10.com, where all of our podcasts are. This one will go there. And you can get yourself some Christmas shopping done by going there, just clicking it on right now after you're done with this podcast. Get yourself some shirts, sweatshirts, hats, T-shirts from your favorite school, or maybe your friend or family member's favorite Big Ten school. It's all right there at Talk Big 10. Lots to cover here in the weeks to come. Going to be a crazy month of December. Thanks for hanging with us, and I can't wait till we meet again. Thanks for joining us here today. For Locked On Big Ten, I'm Craig Shemon.